Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat for you, but if you're new here, hi! Welcome, my name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, WIP is WIP, that is work in progress. You can pull out whatever it is that you are working on and work alongside with me. I'm going to be starting and working on Leo. I have the entire Ninja Turtle collection. More on that later. So this will be a new start for me today. I'm very excited. But anyway, if you don't know what a WIP Chat is, I'm working on my WIP, WIP, work in progress. I think I just said that. I'm sidetracked already. But you can pull out whatever it is that you're working on, whether it be a craft project, a household project, while you're doing chores, while you're driving, while you're at work, while you're pretending to work, whatever it is that you want to be doing. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. And so let's get into it. I just want to show you guys. So as I said, I have all 4 of them kitted up and working on them. Each one has 5 or 6 colors. So what I did was, I'm just going to show you guys this. Nobody asked, but I'm going to show it anyway. This is my Harbor Freight system, and it can hold 24 containers. So each row is a turtle, and then I have them labeled here at the top. So Raph, Leo, Donnie, Mikey. So when I'm working on Leo, which will be this one, and these are the lids for my trays. I'm just putting them in just so I don't lose them. But I will just be using these ones here. And then when I'm done, I'll put them back into my tainers, as my daughter calls it. Let me see what I want to pull out, where I want to start. Obviously, I need the background color. So let's do 2 colors to start. I hope that you guys are all doing well. I have so much I want to share about this project with you guys, but you'll just have to wait and see. These are part of the Diamond Art Club Lil Diamonds collection, which are the little mini kits they have. So I'm really excited. If you guys didn't know, my husband and I are huge Ninja Turtle fans. I don't even know how I want to start this, but just throw this. You know, I was like, oh man, do I have any like pizza washi or pizza minders? No, I don't. I also just reloaded wax in like 4 of my pens, something like that, and start. And so that is, we'll see how that goes. I knew I needed to. I actually had gone like 2 whole diamond paintings without reloading my pens, and I don't even know how that's possible. But anyway, I hope that you guys are all well. I am recording this. My kiddo is home. She's napping, so you may or may not hear her bopping around on the monitor over here. But you guys, so we have Google Minis throughout our house. We have one in our craft room, we have one in her room, we have one in our room, and then we have one of the Google like video displays in our kitchen. Which the one in the kitchen I feel like works the least amount. Like it's the most difficult of all of the ones we have. Anyway, so my daughter has been trying to get the Goodle, as she calls it, to listen to her and understand her, and it finally happened. She is so excited she could tell it what to play, but her favorite thing to do with the Goodle, as she calls it, which I also love that it recognizes when she says Goodle and not Google. Sorry, I'm trying to line these up real quick. Is the fact that it can tell knock-knock jokes. And your girl loves a good knock-knock joke, all right? So she is sitting in her room. This is my new favorite thing. I'll walk in, and she'll be sitting on the floor, and she'll be like, hey, Goodle. And then it'll tell me a knock-knock joke. And then it'll tell her a knock-knock joke. And then she'll be like, do the whole thing, thinks it's funny. She literally sits, like, cross-legged on the floor, crisscross applesauce, staring up at it like it's this end all be all, like, amazing thing. And it is the funniest thing to watch. She is so into it. And I'm here for it, you guys. Of course, now I'm like, we have to figure out, like, parental controls for it. Because I don't need her, you know, somehow getting inappropriate things on her Goodle. But she loves her little Goodle. But I'm really bummed. We used to do Animal of the Day on the Google. You used to be able to ask it what the animal of the day was, and then it would give you, like, a fact about that specific animal. And then it would also give you, like, animal sounds and all these things. And the one day we were listening to it, and it was letting us know, like, this is being discontinued, or whatever phrase they used. And I was like, man, if you guys see me, like, stumbling with the drills over here, it's because everything is just loaded with fresh wax. But this is the first time I've done a canvas on this light pad that is smaller than the light pad itself. Which, honestly, I don't even know what size light pad I have. It's not the biggest by far. Do you guys use light pads? I am a huge light pad person. But for me, I don't need a huge light pad. I just need one that is big enough. And then, like, I don't keep mine stationary to the table. So when I'm working on a larger canvas, I like, shift it all over the place. But anyway, oh god, my eye's twitching now. What am I doing with this wax? You guys, I am a mess. My eye is twitching. I've overloaded all of my pens. That's the worst. Like, when you put new wax in and you think it's good, and then it, like, splooges all over everything. Or, the worst is when you think you put enough wax in, because you're like, I don't want to overload it, and then you don't have enough in, and it doesn't pick up. That's super fun. But, yeah, anyway, I hope that you guys are all well. I hope everybody had a lovely weekend. What did you guys do? Anything fun and exciting? Let me know down below. So, let's get into our week. But, we are going to be heading into spring break here soon, which is so weird to me how... What is she doing? I don't know if you guys could just hear that very large thud. I'm assuming my daughter is doing something she should not be doing in her room. Oh. And right on cue. I'm okay. I didn't say anything to her. I have the monitor right here. Anyway, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, how, like, so many school districts have already had spring break. And then I'm like, what do you guys do? Like, did they give the kids off extra for Easter? Speaking of kids having time off, our local school district, as well as the neighboring school district, which I think is why ours did it, the day of the eclipse is doing an early dismissal so that kids basically aren't outside burning their eyeballs when it happens. So here's the thing. I've talked about this before. This is a total tangent, and then I'll get into my week. I don't like early dismissal days. My kid is a half-day kiddo. Somehow early dismissal days means my kid is at school even longer, which drives me crazy. But the thing that drives me additionally insane about all of this is the fact that, so we have AM kindergarten, and my kiddo is, they have AM, PM, and then they have some full-day classes for kids who need additional support. So the thing that bothers me is that every time we have an early dismissal day, the PM kids don't have school. Okay, fine. Okay, sure, whatever. But here's the problem. This will now be the 4th day of the school year that AM kids have school and PM kids do not. So when are these AM kids going to get 4 additional days off? I know that that might seem like petty or whatever, but it is really frustrating because not only is my kiddo now having to go to school longer on a day that she normally would be there, but, like, we have to make up a day for the first day and the last day of spring break. We actually have to go to school for now because we have snow makeup days. Like, why can't you just let the little AM kiddos have those days off? and have the full, however many days it is for spring break instead. It bothers me. It really, really bothers me. And, like, I know they're not going to be like, okay, well, AM kindergarten, you guys get out a week early at the end of the school year. And it's not just me. Like, all the other grades still have to come to school. But somehow PM kindergarten gets less school than the rest of us. I don't know. It's a super tangent. Anyway, I hope that you guys are all well. Did I need to fill this pen also and not? Because that feels like that may be what happened. There we go. I have so many trays and pen. Whoa. Wow, I just like choked on air there. So many pens and so many trays on my desk right now. I don't normally have multiple trays going, but it makes sense for a kit this size with so few colors to not have to just like fill and empty and refill the trays over and over again, if that makes sense. So I just kind of have the same way that I have a large tray. This is a, what are you? A Switch Mini Max from Firefly. I call this my 310 tray because normally I put, like, if I'm doing like a Hannah Lynn or something like that, I just keep my 310 in here and just keep refilling it as often as it needs and just keeping it in there because, or if it's something that has like a huge background color, whatever it may be. So my background color in this one, for example, is 209. So I've got that in my, as I call, 310 tray. Anyway, I am absolutely loving. Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle before I get super into my week? Because there's only one right answer, and depending on what your answer is, decides if we can be friends or not. My husband's favorite is Raph, and he's wrong, but we always have this debate. Like, this is one of those, like, we will truly debate. We will debate strangers about this. Like, we will debate. And my husband and I, as I mentioned, do not agree. So let me know your favorite turtle down below. And if you are not a Ninja Turtle fan, I'm really sorry to hear that. So last week, I don't know how much of my weekend I got to tell you guys. I think I like started it and then quickly had to run off. My daughter got her first Polly Pocket, which I got on, you know, like a great, like the lightning deal on Amazon. And for anyone who had a Polly Pocket back in the 80s, these are definitely bigger. Either that or like my hands are obscenely large compared to what they used to be. Because she had me help her. Like, can you put the chair over here? Can you do that? And I was like, sure, let me help you. And then I was like, my hands are so big. It just doesn't fit. She, no joke, everywhere we have been, she sees a random stranger. I got my very first Polly Pocket. We go to a restaurant. She tells the wait staff, I got my very first Polly Pocket. She is so incredibly obsessed with this Polly Pocket. And we got, it is a cat. And it is a sushi restaurant, so it has a little cat in it, and it is in the shape of a cat, and it is a little sushi restaurant, like a revolving sushi, which I have never done, and I really want to. Have you guys ever done the revolving sushi? Or like the conveyor belt sushi? I would love to. But I'd have to go, like, out of the area to do that. I think the closest one to where we are is, there's one in DC, I think, and one in Philly, I think. But like neither of those are really convenient to just go grab a meal. Anywho, so we got that. We went to the outlets. We went to Nike. My husband picked up a pair of just plain sneakers for her that he is going to paint. If you guys didn't know, my husband is truly an artist. He's the DaddaMonster, and he does the custom Funko Pops, which if you guys ever want to check that stuff out, it is always listed in my description. But he also, the man can paint, the man can draw, the man is very, very talented. Meanwhile, I'm like, I can draw a Woody Woodpecker, and that's it. I have no artistic ability, and I remember getting into a conversation with somebody about diamond painting, and I was like, diamond painting is not artistic. Now, it can be. If you are somebody who can look at a canvas and immediately see all of the things you want to change, you want to turn this into that special drill, like that is definitely art and artistic ability. I don't have that. And I am very jealous of people who can look at that and easily get something out of it, because for me, like if I'm going to do a swap, I'm going to do one that's like a 1-for-1 swap. So like this is 209. If I wanted to use an AB, I would buy the 209 AB. For me, I might be like, okay, maybe 208 or 210 would be close enough, but I don't know. I didn't look it up. But I can't look at that and be like, you know what else would be great? Blah, blah, blah number. I don't know. Or people who can just look at water and go, okay, so that needs to do crystals and fairy dust or glitter, whatever the dust drills are called. Every company seems to now have them, and they all have their own name. But you know what I'm talking about, I assume. I hope you do. I just don't have that ability to just look at something and be like, okay, so this is what I want to do with it. Very, very rarely do I go, I want to make changes to this. Sometimes I do, and I do keep my special drills. Like, I have all my ABs, and any, like, fairy dust drills or crystal drills or metallic drills. I do try to keep them aside, but I very rarely pull them out to look at. I don't know. Anyway, so he's going to paint her these sneakers. I don't know what he's going to paint them, but it was a little bit frustrating because my daughter hasn't worn a pair of, like, real sneakers from a company that has numbered sizes in a really, really long time. If you guys are like, well, what kind of shoes does she wear? So my kiddo is a small shop kid, and a lot of those shoes, they just go by measuring the kid's foot and going from there. And she is so loud. I've turned this monitor down. It is down to the lowest it can be without being off, and it still sounds like she's screaming in my ear. So if you guys can hear her, like, loud and clear, I apologize. But we had to get a pair of tie sneakers last year for something, which, let me tell you, when your kid has really, like, my child is 6, but she has toddler-sized feet, and they don't typically have shoelaces in toddler shoes because most toddlers can't tie their shoes. I know, crazy. But, so I have no idea what size shoe she needed. So I asked, there was like a kid, if I had to guess, this kid was probably 16 years old. And I said, hey, do you guys have something I can measure her feet with? And he's like, yeah. So he put her foot on, and he's like, so I'm going to say probably like a 12. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, something like that. What do you mean something like that, bro? You're literally looking at the thing. Is it a size 12 or not? And I looked at where her toes were, and her toes were at the 11. And I was like, okay, so we're going to start with an 11 because I'm not putting her in a 12. That is clearly way too big for her. Needless to say, we put her in an 11 and a 12. Guess which one fit? The 11. I was a little bit frustrated because I was like, man, I'm glad that, I second-guessed this kid. And not that, like, the kid did anything wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. But it was just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, but anyway, so my husband wanted to get her some shoes to decorate, as I mentioned. And he also wanted to get himself a new pair of sneakers. My husband is on his feet all day long at work. And my husband has really, really big feet, like size 15 sneakers. So we don't usually have a lot of luck going to, like, a store and getting sneakers. Usually we go to the Nike outlet, which is where we went, and he can find usually at least a couple pairs in his size to try on. Now, that doesn't mean that they will fit or be comfortable or that he'll like, but we usually do this. We usually try to go to the Nike outlets at least like twice a year for him to check out. And sometimes we have to go more because, like, we'll have gone and they had nothing in his size, or the ones that they did have, they weren't comfortable or whatever. So unfortunately, he didn't find anything he super loved. He found a pair he really liked, but they felt really narrow. So for, like, yesterday when I picked him up from work, was it yesterday? he's like, oh man, I was just short. He walked almost 10 miles at work. So he does need like a good shoe. And, you know, he would like them to be cool shoes if possible. But, he ended up buying her a little sweatshirt. And she was so excited by it. I don't know why, but our child, like, absolutely refuses to wear a sweatshirt or a sweater underneath her jacket at school. And then she's telling me she can't wear her jackets at school because I guess because that's outerwear or whatever. But my thing is, like, girl, if you're cold, then wear the damn sweatshirt. So he got her a sweatshirt, which she has worn a couple times, but it's usually she puts it in her backpack and then wears it at school. Like, I know she doesn't like when the sleeves bunch up into the jacket sleeves, which I get because I also hate that feeling. But she's really, like, I don't know why, but she just loves the sweatshirt. And it's just a plain gray sweatshirt that says Nike on it. Like, it's not anything, you know, super cute or super special or whatever. I mean, it's special because Daddy got it for her. But, so yeah, we did that. We went to, there was a beef jerky outlet, which, you guys, they carry. I have these seeds that I love. I don't remember the name of them, but they sell amazing sunflower and pumpkin seeds, but specifically the pumpkin seeds. I'm a really big seed person. Okay, let me just preface this. So when I used to work, I don't know if I've talked about this much or not. I worked in radio for many, many years. And one of the things I would do is I would sit at my desk and I would have a coffee mug and a piece of paper, and I would just put my seeds down on the piece of paper and then put all the shells into the coffee mug and then, you know, empty the coffee mug at the end of the, when it was full. Let's just say that. I don't want to say at the end of the shift because sometimes it was, but I used to go through seeds like crazy. Now, I don't have the ability to, like, sit down. I would never personally do sunflower seeds at my crafting desk because I would just get seeds or dust or whatever everywhere, and I'm not trying to have, like, seeds stuck to my diamond paintings, but I still love a good seed. Big's brand is my favorite. I love their dill pickle. Anyway, nobody asked, but I shared it anyway. So this company sells pumpkin seeds, which I also love, but I feel like not a lot of places make really good flavored pumpkin seeds, and this one, they are so good. If I can remember the name of it, I'll put it on the screen, but without going down like 2 flights of stairs, oh no, I already finished that bag, so that's in the trash. I probably won't know what it is, but I will say, when you do color blocking of like a large color, cool. That was good, Lindsay. Sometimes it is hard to tell if they are lined up until you have like a lot on the screen. The kit on the, until you have a lot down. Jesus, Lindsay. Words. These are just, I don't know why they seem so off already. Yeah. Interestingly enough, the background color does not have any circles, which I feel like if there was a color to have guide circles, it would be that. Anyway, so we did that, and it was St. Patty's Day, so she was walking around with her little shamrock ears, and my daughter loves, like, spring-loaded festive headbands, so she has bat ones that she wears a lot. She has some Valentine's Day ones. She has these St. Patty's Day ones. Okay, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I am somehow missing a spot with every drill I'm placing. And I can't tell where I'm going, like, haywire. If you hear me get quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. And I can't tell if I placed too many in one of these rows or not enough in one of them. And I'm compensating because I definitely feel like I am not somebody super anal about, like, my things being super straight, by the way. They're, like, not lining up correctly. And I don't mean, like, straight, like, they're just not lining up. Anyway, there we go. But we also went to the Hot Topic store, and I realized my kid's a Hot Topic kid. We also went to Tractor Supply that weekend. We got to see some ducks, which I think I talked about that a little bit last week. But overall, it was a nice little weekend. Who doesn't love a good little weekend with the fam bam, you know? I am struggling over here, you guys. Anyway, the next day was Monday. So my kiddo earned a movie and a snack. And it wasn't like a movie. It was like Pete the Cat or whatever. Something educational. And, which I'm fine with either way. But it was funny. She wanted to bring like a whole snack pack with her. And I was like, sure, if you want to, we can do that. You know, I don't know if there's any kids with food allergies, so let's not put like nuts in your snack pack. And she wanted to have, you know, candy and this, and we put some dye-free candy in for her. It was like a cheese stick, dye-free candy. I think Cheez-Its. She's on a really big Cheez-Its kick right now. We got a case of it when we went to Costco, and like every day that's been her snack. She's like, I want some Cheez-Its. Okay, have some Cheez-Its, girl. And I think she likes that because she can get them herself. Not that she can't get other snacks, but this is separate from the snacks in the snack bin, so she doesn't have to, like, make a decision. She just goes right over and grabs it. I do need to get more cereal bars. There was something else I just finished the other day, and I was like, don't forget to get more of that, but now I don't remember what it was, so I'm probably going to forget to get more of it. But yeah, she was so excited. She got to have her movie and a snack day, and she was letting me know this kid brought in a whole bag of Doritos, like from the gas station. It probably wasn't from the gas station, but it's probably the same size as like the party bags that she sees at the gas station, which just made me giggle because of like that's how kids' brains work. And then like later in the day, I was not feeling well, and I actually had my husband come home from work. I was like starting to lose like dexterity in my hand and just feeling really, I was just not feeling great. And, so he came home and then he took her ice skating, and, I felt a lot better, but it was weird. And I was just, I don't know. It scared me a little bit, but not enough to be like, I should go to the hospital, which, you know, should I have? I don't know, but we did that. And then Tuesday, my husband was off, I think he had a couple days off this past week. So we took her to school, and then we went out to lunch at just like a local restaurant. And then they had their peanut butter eggs. Why are peanut butter eggs not a thing year round? Like, why is that only like an Easter thing? And I had never had like homemade peanut butter eggs till I moved to this area. Is that a thing where you guys live? Let me know. Because I'm really, really curious to know. I need to do something here because these are all lining up wonky again. And then Wednesday, we took her to school, and I had seen a post on Facebook. It was to try synchronized skating. And I reached out to the person who was running it, and I was like, hey, you know, like, what levels is this for? Is there an age limit or age restriction or, you know, whatever? Like, I was just trying to find out the information, because if you guys didn't know, my daughter, who figure skates, wants to skate for Disney on Ice when she grows up. And she wants so badly to do more of the stuff she did when we did the theater show. And for that, I saw this as an opportunity to like let her try another discipline. I guess, I don't know what you call it. I am a skate mom, but like I have no idea what I'm doing. And unfortunately, our coach lets me know that all the time, and it's very, very frustrating, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I don't know what I'm doing, and I just want my daughter, who loves this sport, to have as many opportunities as she can to experience all the things she wants to experience within the sport. I don't know why there's a random red drill in there. So we took her to the event. She was by far the youngest, by far the littlest. She was also the lowest level of any of the skaters there, which is fine. They made it very clear that, like, they're open to all different levels. But it was a whole hour-long practice. And you guys, she skated for the entire thing. She did really, really well. Of course, when it was time to go, she was awful. But I think, so one of the things, and I've talked about this a little bit before, my daughter has a really hard time recognizing that she is hungry or that she is tired. And for sure she was hungry, but she wasn't going to tell you that she was hungry. And she was also tired because it had been a long day at school already. Plus she skated, like hardcore skated for a full hour. Like she really put in the work. And from the moment she got off the ice to the moment she went to bed, the rest of that night was just crap. Like we went out to dinner, because the rink that we went to for this was, it was local, but not like local. Like it was like 45 minutes away. And so we went out to eat, as we figured like that was probably our best option, is to just grab some dinner afterwards. And so we went to, it's like a big chain restaurant, and she just, for some reason, I think a huge part of it is where we were sitting. So it's like a bar restaurant, and it had TVs all over the place. And for anybody who doesn't know, we are like a pretty screen-free household with her. Not because I wanted it to be that way. Not because I thought, oh, I'm not trying to be crunchy or anything like that. My child has a really, really difficult time transitioning from watching TV to not watching TV. Occasionally we will do, a movie or something special like that. And we have tried to add in like a family show, which for us right now is The Masked Singer. And she absolutely loves The Masked Singer. But they were like little, like, I don't know, I've seen this before at other restaurants. It's almost like Vine, like the 6-second video, like viral video TV. And they just like cycle through. So the one was like cute animal videos. So there's like video after video after video of like cute little animals. And then then we have like fail videos for people like falling on their face. She had a really hard time like focusing herself on not watching the TV. And it didn't matter, like, if I had sat her on the other side of the table, she was still able to see a different TV. Like, it was one of those situations where there was just TVs everywhere. Okay. Well, then the problem was she was so, like, overwhelmed and overstimulated and over everything, and also hungry, but not believing me that she was hungry. She, at one point, we had a really, highly emotional part of the meal, and she ended up hitting her head on the table, and then was like flailing her body around, and I was like, girl, you've got to slow your body down. And of course, especially when you're in the moment, like that's the last thing she wants to hear. So she was like literally like arms and legs just flailing, so I had to squeeze her in, and then same head that she just hit on the table, against my zipper. I had a metal zipper on my like hoodie. And then she had this huge mark across her forehead. And I was like, cool. And then she's screaming at me like, you hurt me. I'm like, Briar, I didn't do this. You were flailing your body. And of course I let her know, I am so sorry that hurt you. That was never my intention. And you're allowed to be mad at mommy. That's okay. But it's not okay for you to like be screaming, especially out in public like this. It was just a very, very, very rough night. And I was like, cool. How can we have such a wonderful, amazing evening just turn into something so disastrous? Like, I was like, what is happening right now? And of course, as a parent, I'm watching as like the table next to us that has like a baby, like a 1-year-old, behaving better than my kid and listening better than my kid. I'm like, what alternate universe am I in right now that my 6-year-old is the one not listening and acting this way? And it was one of those things, like, as soon as she came home, we got ready for bed, like, she crashed within minutes. So, but it's hard because she doesn't recognize I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm whatever. And it just manifests itself into her freaking out because she doesn't know what to do with herself. But she really, really, really loved the synchro. And I was like, okay, well, you know, we'll find out more information. We'll find out when the auditions are. And I let the coach know, like, you know, do they have... She told me there's multiple teams. And I think last year was the first time they had I think it's called Aspire 1 team, which would be those younger or lower level skaters. She said, you know, the only downside is if we don't have enough, then we don't have a team. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to explain that to Briar that, like, even if you do a great job at your audition, you still might not make it, and that has nothing to do with you. I mean, it could also have to do with her, depending on, you know. And the coach saw some of my daughters, like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how else to describe this. But my daughter has to be the last one to leave whatever it is we do. So, like, every time we go ice skating, she is always the last one. Always. And it's not because she doesn't know how to get ready quickly. Like, I don't know if she just wants to see what everybody else... I don't know. And it is so frustrating because, like, I will tell her. Like, the other day, I said to her, you want to earn an extra star? We have a star jar that she can earn stars for doing a good job at the rink and listening and following the rules and all of that. And I said, you want to earn an extra star? Then I want to be in the car within 5 minutes of your lesson ending. And she's like, okay. Which, of course, she was able to do that the other day, but she was not able to listen during her lesson. So I was like, well, that was contingent. Like, you can't get the second star if you don't get the first star. Anyway, I'm rambling. But that was just a rough patch of that week. The next day, my kiddo took the bus to school, which she loves taking the bus to school. And she came home with this I love sheet. So she's been working on writing sentences and writing just in general. And so it said, I love, and on the list it said, I love Hello Kitty. I love bow ties. She wears bow ties all the time. I love Friends. And then it also specifically said the name of one of her friends. And then it said, I love Mommy. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Of course, my husband's like, where am I on this list? I'm like, you were not in the forefront of her thoughts. Don't take it personal. Like, she's just a little 6-year-old at school. Just, that's what came to mind. It's okay. But it was very cute. And then, it's so weird to me to, like, see her sounding out words and writing sentences now. You know, they're working on, like, 3 and now some 4-letter words. But we struggle with, if she doesn't know what a word is right away, she doesn't want to sound it out. Which I understand, like, you have sight words, I get it, girl. But, like, you need to learn the words. And if you don't know what the word is, you need to learn how to start sounding it out. And then, of course, you get these things and she'll start talking about, like, a word, and I'm like, okay, so that actually makes a different sound, and then it'll be, but why? And I'm like, how do you explain to your kid that, like, the English language is the most screwed up language on the planet, and it is, like, oh, well, you can't sound everything out phonetically, because this means this, and this sound, like, oh, how do you explain a silent K to a 6-year-old? Like, she was looking at the word, I think it was knife, and she's like, and I was like, it's a silent K, and she's like, what? I'm like, I know. Then she's talking to me, listen, you guys, I went to school forever and a half ago. I don't remember what a short sound or a long sound is. I'm sure I could look all of this up on the internet and, you know, but, like, I don't know. And I don't know what I'm doing. And she's always quick to tell me, like, if I do something differently than her teacher. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not your teacher. But I will say, the more and more I see other people talking about their kids' teachers on social media, the more and more I appreciate the teacher we have, she looks out for my kid in a way that, like, hopefully, I'm probably going to cry. Hopefully my kid remembers her kindergarten teacher as fondly as I do. Because she goes out of her way to make sure that, like, my daughter is not having anything she shouldn't be having in terms of food. Like, there was a situation, and my daughter, turns out she made up the whole thing. But she told us that one of the kids in her class gave her a cupcake on snack day that had rainbow sprinkles and icing. And I was like, what? And then, of course, I reached out to the teacher, and I was like, do you know anything about this? And she did not. And so she investigated. And then my daughter was like, oh, well, it was actually my friend on the playground. And she told me the girl's name, who is actually like a friend of ours from outside of school as well. So I reached out to her mom, who was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going. Turns out my kid made the whole thing up. I don't know why. And then she was honest about it with me afterwards. But I was like, why? Are you trying to get your friends in trouble? Like, and she's like, why would they get in trouble? And I'm like, because you're not allowed to share food. You don't know who has food allergies. And, like, there's an allergy pod. So nobody in that classroom is allowed to have any, whatever the nut products, soy products, whatever it is. But I don't know. The school doesn't tell you if there are kids in the class that, like, what their specific allergies or whatever are. And so, you know, I'm, like, freaking out because I'm like, I can't believe that somebody would give her, but they didn't. But, like, things like that, or, like, she will go out of her way to include my daughter. Like, they did a thing for Valentine's Day where her teacher made pink pancakes. And she was going to make plain ones for Briar, and she just wanted to make sure, like, is that okay? And then checked with me about the ingredients of the batter and the syrup. And they had another day at school where they had root beer floats. She sent me screenshots of all of the labels, things like that, just to make sure. And it may seem like such a little thing, but when you see how many other teachers don't want to put in the extra effort, they're just like, whatever, then you're just going to be excluded from this thing. She doesn't want my kid to be excluded. And I appreciate that so intensely, that she goes out of her way to make sure there are things that are good for my kid or safe for my kid or whatever. And, like, during the Christmas stuff, she went out of her way to make sure that there was just straight up, like, winter decorations. You know, your snowman, your snowflake, things like that. And I really appreciate it because she didn't have to do that. I mean, it was wise because she's not the only kid who doesn't celebrate Christmas. But it was wonderful. It was beautiful. The next day, my husband had to go to work, but it was like an hour later. So we're getting closer to Hershey Park being open, which means his hours have been extended. And they're just going to continue to extend? That sounds right. That's right. But so he didn't have to be in until an hour later. But because of that, we had this awkward amount of time. So we went to the post office, did a post office run. And then we stopped and had a little coffee date because we were going to get breakfast, but we didn't have enough time for, like, an actual sit-down breakfast. So we just grabbed, like, a cup of coffee and, like, a donut or a bagel or whatever. And that was really nice. And then we had our private lesson. So I'm kind of feeling a little, I don't want to say stuck, but I'm kind of feeling lost. I've been talking about how much my daughter loves ice skating for a while now. But what I don't ever really talk about is that as a skate mom, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't have any skate friends. There's no families with children the same age as mine at the rink. There's one little girl who kind of pushes my kid around. We don't ever see her anymore. But, like, she knows even less than I do. And she would ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. And so I've gotten to the point now where it feels like every decision I've made, I'm being told is the wrong one. Her coach was not happy that I let her try synchro out. And then she's like, well, you should talk to some of the moms at the rink. And I wanted to be like, what moms at the rink? What moms at the rink? The ones who don't talk to me? The ones who never engage with me? The ones who act like my little kid is a nuisance to them because she's running around and she's hyper and she's, like, all over the place? Those moms? Am I supposed to ask them? How do I know whose parent has a kid that has done synchro. I don't even know most of these kids' names. Like, I was just like, we've had this issue before where, like, she got frustrated that I went ahead and bought a dress for my daughter. So, a while ago, my kid was set to compete. We were all ready to compete. We have our program. We were set to go. And something happened, and we opted not to sign up for that competition. But in the time frame from when we decided we were going to do it to when the actual competition was, there was not a lot of time. So I went because I didn't want to sit there and keep waiting for somebody to offer me help when I wasn't getting it. And I went ahead and I bought a dress secondhand, and I was told that I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, okay, well, I see online all these people talking about how it takes forever to get these dresses, and, and then she's like, it's the wrong length, it's too long, it's not the right colors, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it ended up working way better than the dress she actually wanted my kid to wear. And she was like, no, let her wear the dress you bought. And I was like, okay. There was no apology. It was just basically like, you're wrong. And then, oh, well, I guess you kind of did an okay job. So now I'm upset because she's telling me I'm making a terrible mistake letting my kid do synchro. And I've been told, I'll let you know everything you need to know, but I don't get told anything. And I'm just sitting here while all of her peers are continuing to go to competitions, and we're not. I'm sitting here while all of her peers seem to be moving forward, and I don't know, like, what I'm doing wrong. She tells me my kid's doing this skill wrong, and then I say, well, how do I help her fix it? And she goes, tell her she's doing it wrong. She's 6. I have to show her how she's doing it right. I don't know how to do it right. Then she tells me we're spinning the wrong way. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was a right way or a wrong way to spin. And she doesn't mean technique-wise. She means direction-wise. And I'm like, which direction should she be spinning? I don't know what I'm doing. And I feel so lost. And I feel like I'm failing my kid because she loved synchro. And she just wants to do all of this stuff. And then we'll get to a lesson and she's just not listening again. And her coach will be like, well, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, what do you want me to do? If I had the magic solution to make my kid magically listen, don't you think I would have already done that? Don't you think I would know by now how to make it better? I'm just so overwhelmed because I want this for her. I want her to continue loving ice skating. But now I'm wondering, like, if the coach just doesn't want us as her on her roster. And what do I do? What do I do? Do I just text her and go, hey, do you think we're still a good fit? I don't want to make her uncomfortable. I don't want to alienate her. And I am not somebody who, like, is afraid of confrontation or anything like that. But I also don't want her to go, no, I don't want your kid anymore. And now I don't have a coach. But I also don't want her to be like, yes, that's a ridiculous statement. Why would you think that? And then have to be like, because you tell me all the time, everything that I do is wrong. It's hard. Like, it's hard. And I feel like it shouldn't be this hard. But then again, I don't have any other skate friends to be like, is this normal? Like, what do I do now? I don't know. I'm just, and I'm overwhelmed because, if we were to, she doesn't want her skating as much at the other rink, but then, like, she tells me that the coaches at that rink are also ruining her skating as well. And I'm like, so what is it? Is it that you don't want me to skate at the other rink because you don't want me putting money in their pocket? Or is it something more than that? Because it sounds like you also don't think the coaches here are teaching my kid properly. But there's not enough hours in the day for this woman to just teach my kid how to skate. She's got a ton of other students, and rightfully so. She's a good coach. I just don't know. I just don't know what to do. And it's stressing me out. And the next day, we took my husband to work, and I took my daughter to get some breakfast, which she absolutely loved, having a little breakfast date with mommy, because we were going to go to one of the local skating competitions. We were not in the competition. We were just watching. And she did a really good job. We watched as 2 of our friends both placed first in their perspective levels, which was really cool. And then, of course, I texted her coach and I said, you know, I'm hoping her watching 2 of her friends place first and watching 2 hours of the competition will give her the motivation she needs to really listen at her next lesson. And instead of saying anything encouraging, she said, I was there. Okay. Yeah, of course you were there. You had kids competing. Like, I was just like, okay, again, I don't know what I'm doing. But it was super nice to be able to watch, because she has a program and when she feels like doing it. And that's part of the other issue is that, like, our biggest thing is we don't want to sign her up for a competition and then she just decide when she get there, like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do it. Which is a very, very, very big possibility with the way she responds. But I don't want to pay the coach for travel. I don't want to travel. You know, like, this competition was local, so this would have been the perfect one for her to skate at. But it was not even brought to me as an option. So, you know, it's kind of frustrating because it's been many, many months. Like, the last one was October that we were originally going to compete in. And it's now March. And, you know, it hasn't really been brought up again of, like, this is when the next local or local-ish competition is. We want to sign her up. Do we not want to sign her up? And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just stressed. But anyway, so that was a really, really, really fun time. And she did a really great job. She got a new pair of skate pants, which she needed. We have a pair of skate pants, same company, which at the time I bought the first pair of pants, I didn't realize that the person who sold them is actually one of the coaches at that rink. And so we've skated with her before, but I didn't realize that till after the fact. She wanted a sweatshirt, and it was funny. So this woman, she was getting all my information because she didn't have any youth sizes with her. She only had junior sizes. And I, you know, was obviously like, that's fine. You know, she's like, oh, are you local? And I said, yeah, I live around the corner. And then, of course, she's like, you should skate at this rink. And I was like, well, yeah. But, I realized later, one of the teenagers that has been skating with my daughter for the last, like, 1.5 to 2 years, that was her mom's shop. And she's like, oh, you know, we're at the rink all the time. You know, I can, when it's ready, I can just text you and let you know and bring it in for the Learn to Skate. And I was like, okay. And then I went and looked at her shop on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, that's so-and-so's mom. And it was just very sweet to put 2 and 2 together. But she thought my daughter was the cutest thing, as she is. And she gave her a free bag tag. So, like, Briar was so excited. It's a ice skating unicorn. And it's a luggage tag for your, like, skate bag, but she put it on her backpack for school. This child is just collecting all sorts of keychains and things. Like, her backpack, it has so much stuff on it. You can hear her coming down from down the hallway. I'm sure of it, because I can hear her in my house just, like, walking through the halls with it. It cracks me up. But, what did we do after that? Oh, has anybody ever used Birdfy? Birdfy? They're, like, basically, like, Ring doorbells for birds. It's like a bird feeder that has a camera. And it'll alert you when there's a bird at your camera so you can watch it and it automatically takes video. Then they have one that has, like, the AI technology that can actually, like, tell you what kind of bird it is, which I think is super cool. But I don't know if it's, like, $50 extra super cool or not. But if anybody has ever used one of these or gifted them to anybody, let me know. They are not cheap. But she loves birds. And unfortunately, I just don't have memory on my phone to, like, keep a bunch of bird watching apps on my phone. I've been recommended a few. I just, you know, gotta be smarter. But yeah, so where am I? Oh, and then we went to dinner. So we picked up my husband, and there's some sporting something or other in town. So there was a lot of, like, young people all over the place. And I don't mean, like, the ice skate. There was another sporting thing in town. And so I was like, you know what? I don't feel like cooking on a Saturday night, so we ended up just going to, there's a bowling alley that has a restaurant attached to it, and we went there. It ended up being a really wonderful day. She did a really good job. I was super, super impressed. I mean, 2 hours of watching other people figure skate is not easy when you're a little kid. Also, Super Petty Lindsay came out. So I was there very, very early. And I'm guessing like a lot of the higher level stuff was later in the day, because all of a sudden there was a huge influx of cars and people. And so we were getting in the car and we were having our little snack, and this person parked behind my car with their turn signal on. It was at least 12 minutes. And I was like, I'm just going to sit here. I will sit here until she has done every single bite. I will sit here until like the car is warm. I will sit here. And at one point I said to Briar, I was like, I'm ready to go back in. Just turn the car off. And she's like, but I don't want to go back inside. And I was like, I'm not going to do that to you. But and then they like blocked me in, so I couldn't even back out properly. Listen, I get it. But like, don't hover for that long. I am definitely one of those people that, like, if it was not freezing cold and torrentially raining, I would have absolutely turned my car off and been like, okay, we're all done here. But I waited for, I was probably out there for like 15 plus minutes. They were out there with their four-ways on, unloading before they turned their turn signal on to get me to get out of the car. So, yeah, interesting. But, the next day, we dropped my husband off at work, and then we went to Dunkin' Donuts, you guys. Okay, if anybody is coming to the Hershey Park area for the summer, listen, pack your patience if you go to the Dunkin' Donuts that's down the street from it. There used to be a guy that worked at that location that was the most efficient human being on the planet. And he would like haul ass and get orders out so quickly. Then he left to go to a different location, which we go to quite often. It's not super far away, but it's not the one right by the park. And ever since then, it like has taken forever. So I couldn't even tell you. I watched 2 cars behind me like bail out of line. That's how long the lines were. And it took so long. But Briar was so excited. She wanted the little like stuffed bagel bites. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's grab some. Usually on Sundays we do McDonald's breakfast. But unfortunately, my child opted to sleep in, which I shouldn't say unfortunately, but just, it was unfortunate for the fact that, like, we had plans to have McDonald's. So I was like, do you want me to get you, like, a breakfast sandwich like you get at McDonald's? And she's like, what else do they have? And I was like, all right, so, she really enjoyed those. I was pretty impressed because they're pretty significant in size, but I think this is probably a good place to end for the video. I've got a couple unboxings for you guys this week or in the next like week or so. And then I will have more information on this project that I am working on here. But I think that's it. If you guys made it all the way to the end, leave me a heart. Any heart. I don't care. Leave me a heart. To let me know that you made it all the way to the end and that you love me dearly. And that's how us old people do hand hearts. I still can't figure out like the gangway. I call it the gangway. It's like the Gen Z, Gen Alpha way. Anyway, I'm going to get going before I keep rambling. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or like today, sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!